Guys, spelling in English can be so confusing, even for me sometimes, to be honest with you. So many words in English are not spelt the way that they sound, and vice versa. So today we're going to have a go at looking at some basic spelling patterns. We're going to look at some silent letters as well. And hopefully this will give you a little bit more confidence when you're writing and even speaking in English as well. We're also going to do a very quick intro to some basic and very common verbs to use in English. But first, story time. So I have a friend, and let's call him Vincenzo. And he is very good at speaking in English, but there was one time when I just didn't understand what he was trying to say. So he came to me and he said, "Oh, do you have the cheese sauce?" And I was like, "Cheese sauce?" And he was like, no, the cheese sauce. And I was like, "Why do you want to put cheese sauce on your pasta?" I just didn't understand what he wanted. And he was like, "Cheese sauce." And I was like, cheese scores. Like, I'm so sorry. What are you saying? Like, seesaw. I was like, seesaw? Like, and finally he went, "No, cheese sauce." Scissors, everybody. So I realized that, bless him, he has seen the word scissors in English, which is spelt like this, by the way. It's spelled scissors. The C is silent. Now, because he's Italian, he reads it as she sauce. So that's just an example of why it's so important to understand that in English, just because it is spelt a certain way, that doesn't mean that that's how you actually say it. And there are a lot of different examples like this one. So let's go over the few silent letters that there are in English, how you pronounce some basic words that are always mispronounced, and how to get you guys sounding more confident in English. But I had to tell you that story. He's going to hate me, but I just thought it was so funny. It took me like 10 minutes to figure out what he actually wanted. Cheese sauce. So there we go, everybody. So let's rub that out. And let's get started. Okay, let's talk about verbs first. First of all, everyone, what is a verb? A verb is an action word. What is it? An action word. Well done. It shows what someone or something does. For example, eat, walk, write, listen, read. These are some very common English verbs. You use verbs in every sentence. So in every sentence, even in a simple sentence, there is always a verb. So that just tells you how important it is to learn the verbs in English. Okay? So what's a verb? It's an action word. It's something that you do. So let's have a look at the most common English verbs. Eat, walk, and repeat after me so you can actually understand the pronunciation. Let's start again. Eat, walk, write, read, listen, speak, watch, cook, sleep, play. Now, I can already see some silent letters here that you don't say when you're reading the words out loud. How many can you spot from this page? Have a look over here. The word write. Now, this means to write. Which letter is silent? The W. We don't say write. No, the word is right. So that W is what we call a silent letter. Same as listen. There is a T in the middle there. We don't say listen. Listen. No, the T is silent. It's hush hush. So we don't pronounce it. Even though that's the way that it is spelt, we don't say it that way. Okay? So those are just a few examples of those silent letters that I was talking about before. All right, let's talk about some spelling tips, okay? So some English words have silent letters. I'm sorry to say. That means you don't say the letter when you read the word. If you would like to copy that whole sentence or sentences down, if you want to copy all of this down, do it so that you can really understand what I'm talking about. Some English words have silent letters. That means that when you say the word, those letters are not pronounced or said. All right, let's have a look at some examples here, okay? So, the word knee, that's this, your knee. Silent K. We don't say the K, all right? We just say knee. So, it's pronounced like knee. Knee. The K is silent. Right, we just talked about. Silent W, okay? It sounds like right, as in R-I-T-E, right. Listen, we don't say the T. The T is silent. It sounds like listen. Comb, that's what you use to brush your hair, a comb. The B is silent. Okay, we don't say comb, it's silent. Comb, comb. It sounds like comb. All right, so you can have silent K, silent W, silent T, silent B. A really common word as well with silent K is no. Like, I don't know. Okay, so that's a word that I think we use often. So just remember that it's spelt K-N-O-W, okay? I know what you're thinking. I don't know, okay? That's K-N-O-W. So remember that one. Very important. Okay, a tip for you guys is this. Don't try to pronounce every letter. English is really tricky, and most times you don't pronounce every letter, okay? So it's more important to you that you are having conversations with people so that you can constantly hear how these words are pronounced. Because unfortunately, in English, the way that it is spelt is not the way that we say it. When you're reading a word, don't try and pronounce every single letter. Most times in English, that's not how it works, okay? We have two letters that make one sound, for example. So don't freak out just yet. We'll get to that another time. But just a quick tip. Don't try and pronounce every single letter, okay? English is really tricky. It's more important that you are hearing the words often, having conversations with people who speak English, and learning how you pronounce those words. Okay, let's talk about the vowels. Now, in English, we have 26 letters of the alphabet, and 5 of them are vowels. So the vowels are A, E, I, O, U. Those are the names of these letters, but the sound they make is different, okay? So again, the 5 vowels in English are A, E, I, O, U. Write those down, highlight them. They're super important. Okay, so when you're using the vowels in English, they can have lots of different sounds, okay? Especially if you put 2 vowels together, for example, then that can change. but we're going to start with the basics, okay? So this is a basic guide. This is the sound that each vowel makes when it's by itself, okay? So, A, the sound it makes is A, like in cat. A. Can you say A? Well done. E sounds like E, like in red. Red. E. Can you say E? I makes I. It's an I sound, like in sit. Sick. I. Can you say I? O is oh, oh, like in dog. Oh, dog. Oh. And finally, U makes an sound. Like in sun. 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 Don't get confused. It's not like cat. Like sun. So be careful with those two. Okay, let's try saying these basic words out loud. Each of these words has a vowel in there somewhere, okay? So let's have a go. Cat, bed, fish, dog, cup. Great. Well done, guys. I know that they're super basic words. They're super basic words, but they will really help you in just recognizing how we're using and saying those vowels within these words, okay? You got to start from the bottom and work your way up. Okay, let's move on. Let's have a practice using the right verb. So, which would be the most appropriate verb to use in this sentence? Now, I'm giving you multiple choice here. So, I dinner at 7 p.m. Sorry, dinner. Sorry, my Australian accent. It's not dinner, dinner, okay? I dinner at 7 p.m. Now, your options are sleep, eat, or read. I sleep dinner at 7 p.m. I eat dinner at 7 p.m. or I read dinner at 7 p.m. What's the answer? Eat. Well done. I eat dinner at 7 p.m. This is a very simple sentence, but I'm just trying to get you to understand what these verbs mean in context. I eat dinner at 7 p.m. Notice how the word eat begins with EA. That's two vowels. And so the sound can sometimes change, okay? This is pronounced eat. All right? So don't let that confuse you though. Well done if you got that one correct. So the answer was B. Give yourself a tick if you got that. And well done. Okay, next one. She to music every day. Now, this is a tricky one. Okay, remember, I listen, you listen, he, she listens, we listen, they listen. So in this context, if I'm saying she, then what would be the correct answer? She listened to music, she listens to music, or she listening to music? There's only one correct answer, guys, and it's B. So she listens to music every day. Give yourself a tick if you wrote down listens. Well done. Okay, moving along now. We, a book in class. Okay, so something to do with a book. Okay, so what would make the most sense in this context? We write a book in class, we speak a book in class, or we read a book in class. What's the answer? Well done. If you said the answer was read, then you would be correct. We read a book, okay? I read a book. Hopefully that makes sense to everybody, okay? Give yourself a tick if you got that one correct. And let's move on. Your challenge, everybody. Your challenge is to write 3 short sentences. So I'm not looking for long, complicated sentences. I just want you to practice. So 3 short sentences using any of the verbs from today's lesson. So today we looked at eat, sleep, write, read. Go to the back, go back to that slide that had all the English verbs, or some of them. So use these ones, okay? There are a lot to choose from. And so when it comes to the challenge, I want you to have a go at writing 3 short sentences using those verbs. For example, I read at night, okay? I read at night. Try these verbs: walk, cook, speak, write, sleep. These are the most common verbs, I think. So have a go at using those, creating 3 short sentences. You can write your sentences in the comments below or write them down in your notebook and make sure that they make sense. Remember, guys, I don't need big sentences. Start with short sentences and just make sure they make sense. That's all for this lesson today, everybody. I know that English spelling can be really confusing, but that's okay. Remember, practice makes progress. So if you want to keep on practicing some English spelling and pronunciation with me, then go into the description and click on the link to book your one-on-one lesson.